I read the post Avatar: The Last Airbender animated series graphic novels. So there's I read two of the three. So there's The Promise, which is a like pretty much like a season, really. It's a
Okay,
full
when do these
arc.
take place?
They take place immediately after the show ends.
Okay.
So they effectively are
The first show.
yes, and these are effectively a final season of the show, if not three final arcs.
Are these like we wanted to get one and then we couldn't get one, so we wrote books, or is this just happens to be the way that they are?
Well, from reading there's the Promise, the Search, and then I haven't read the last one, the Rift, but at least the first two, the Promise and the Search, they were great. I really liked them. They felt like they could be a like yeah
Are they written
another
by the
season.
writers, or are they contracted out?
I don't know. I don't know if they were written by the writers or not, but they felt pretty all right, man. I liked them, and I felt like what was happening. Besides, there were some things where they kind of set up some stuff that they're written by the same writers. Okay, perfect.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, there's some moments that are like, oh, here's a little thing that ties into Korra. Here's a little thing that ties into something that might happen in the future that we hint at or whatever. But for the most part, no, they were really cool arcs that I think also, wrapped up some good questions about the world that, I mean, I didn't finish Korra, but from 2 seasons, there's definitely a bunch of stuff that I'm like, hey, all the characters you loved and all the things like not only what happened to them, but how did the world go from here to there, There's things like, whatever happened to Azula, right?
Oh, yeah.
I think it was pretty solid. Like, so the first one, The Promise, is basically just a setup where Avatar so Aang has defeated the Fire Lord, and now we've got ostensibly a situation where peace should be like possible, right? Yay. Zuko can Fire Lord it up and make it so that the Fire Nation is not so shitty and all that. So let's start trying to govern and fix these problems.
He's such a fucked up fucking ask. Hey, you guys, you were all about conquest and war for like your whole life. All right, new management.
Yeah.
No more of that.
Peacetime,
Just
right?
quit it.
Peacetime, literally. Yeah, literally the harmony movement, right?
I wonder if there's a different, a historical anecdote in the real world that has like a basis for that.
So get this, right? So the Fire Nation, as it's been fucking rampaging and colonizing for the last fucking century plus, has a bunch of colonies in all over the map, and many of them are in the Earth Nation.
Oh my goodness.
And it's like, so the Earth Nation's like, yo, give us our land back, right? And the Fire Nation is like, no,
I don't wanna.
We don't wanna. And then Zuko's like, hey, well, peace now, right? So here's what we gotta do. We gotta go in and, figure that out. Make sure that they get all that back, and we get rid of the colonies and stuff. And you kind of, and it's interesting because, like, I guess with newer colonies, it's like one thing, but when you get there and it's like, here's a colony of people that are earth and firebenders that have been living together for a century.
Harmoniously.
And, but literally the roots are tied together. There are, like, families that are both. And
so what you're telling me is that Aang? Which the fuck? Someone help me. Is it Ong or Aang?
Aang?
Aang. Okay, Aang and the gang go down, and they find that Worf is there, and the prison colony of the Romulans and the Klingons have actually created a new society, and they have Romulan and Klingon mixed children.
Oh.
And they don't, but now they don't know what to do, because if they break them out of the no.
Their reproduction are compatible with each other.
Yeah,
okay.
Just don't worry about that in Star Trek. It's fucking stupid.
Okay. But yeah, no, exactly, right? So it's just like, all right, split this shit up. You guys get out of here. You stay here. And it's like, okay, but now there's a bunch of mixed kids that are like, what?
I don't know where I don't fit in our
And it's
society.
like, oh no, this is not a Nickelodeon problem. You know? So I was like, that's interesting, right? And then, you know, it's like, and it's not just Zuko, and then like Aang's like, no, we gotta, you gotta fucking, we gotta separate everything, make it peaceful. And then it's like, but do ya? And he's like, shit, I don't know. And then it's like, hey, let's go ask previous avatars. What do you guys think? And it's like, yeah, I'm from the old school, so I'm just racism all the time. Really. I think that's a great solution.
I think one of the funniest things about Avatar: The Last Airbender is that we're supposed to look at like, hey, Aang, how are you going to deal with? Oh, you know what? You contact your past lives; they'll help you. And he contacts like a multitude of past lives, and so does Korra. And the shit they tell them is universally unhelpful and usually directly harmful.
Yeah, no, summon the ghost of the fucking founding fathers. And it's like, yes, no, here's exactly what we meant by a well-armed militia. We didn't mean this. And it's like, well, thank you. Awesome. And with that well-armed militia, you can have your slaves take care of all the cleaning of the guns and make sure that everything's up. Thank you, founding father. All right,
Kyoshi,
gotta go.
What
Bye.
do I do about this land dispute? Kyoshi says, kill everyone who disagrees with you and don't stop until you're done. Thanks, Avatar Kyoshi. Right? I appreciate that.
And it's like, cool. Who else is saying that? The previous Fire Lord? Literally? So, yeah. It's exactly that, right?
Oh, what's the fire guy right before Aang?
Ozai?
No. Before the fucking Avatar, the fire dickhead. What the fuck was his name? Roku.
Oh, Roku.
Hey, Roku. Hey, what should I do? Guy who directly allowed every problem in the series to happen.
Oh, yeah, it's really.
It's all the idea of asking him for advice is so outrageous. It's literally his fault. All of it, the whole thing.
So. That's kind of what is happening is Aang is sitting there going, hey, man, you got any past wisdom for me? And he's like, yeah, I sure do. Here's the way things are and here's the way they've been. Let's go. Run it that way. And Aang's like, fuck this, man. Like, thanks, Grandpa. All right. And then it's like literally just like, okay, time to never talk to that ghost again. Like, it's, so it's
hey, man,
really...
Okay, Wooly. You can solve an ethnically diverse, highly tensious land argument, and the only two ghosts you can talk to are Hitler and Neville Chamberlain. They're the only two you can talk to.
Yeah. The previous avatars. No, so that's exactly it. Is just like everyone that came before you is like, dude, I don't know, apartheid works, man. And you're like,
worked for me?
You're like, yeah, it did up until then, right? Sure. Worked, quote unquote. So it's a bunch of children trying to solve fucking non-child problems, race relations, apartheid, borders, because a bunch of power children have to lead nations. What the fuck are we talking about here? I was like, I thought that was a very cool way to like immediately solve you killed the bad, or you didn't kill him, sorry, you beat the bad guy. Yay, everyone, good wins and good triumphs. Now what, So yeah, it was.
I'm a big fan of like the hero solving the problem, and then the method in which they solve the problem leaves them a much more difficult problem to solve that they can't punch.
Right, and of course, like they have points, and the people that are protesting have their points, and then the friends themselves that are all on the side of justice are like seeing different things and being like, yeah, but. What about this side or that side? And of course, like with all of this, you also have what I like, which is of course the buildup that'll foreshadow for the future. So when
the eventual solution is annex them turn them into their own fucking country that ignores all of this shit.
But like it does stuff like so it's like Aang is like looking at a Fire Nation dude, mayor, and like a Earth Nation lady that are like a couple and being like, yeah, we got to split them up, man. We got to get them apart from each other. We got to give it back. Get the Fire Nation out. We got to do
Cats
that.
and dogs
yeah.
living together. What the
right?
fuck?
That's crazy. That's wild. Separate them. Anyways, Katara, you hot Water Nation lady, get over here and kiss my Air Nation mouth.
Let's make some fucking mixed babies
Right?
that have superpowers.
Exactly.
And it's a coin flip as to what kids get what fucking superpower, because that's what I'm doing.
You can't get those two nations apart, but these two nations are in.
Yeah. Well,
know?
I mean, it's different, man. I gotta spread the seed because the Air Nation, right? We all it's my duty.
And exactly, and then like Katara's like, dude, that's literally just us. What the fuck are you doing?
Man, it's totally different.
So
it's different because I had arcs in the Fire and Earth Nations where tons of people in the government tried to kill me. So I have a weird hang up on that.
So it's interesting because it's almost like if you take the trajectory of the original animated series, you could almost be like, so apartheid good, right? Like,
I think
nations of different powers, and then the evil one needs to be defeated so that we can return to harmony, and everyone stays on their own sides, like Time Cube has predicted.
I think
never shall they mix.
What kills me about this is that what it makes my brain autocorrect to is like the core theme of Naruto is the only way you can stop a bad guy with eugenics is a good guy with better eugenics.
Yes, exactly. Eugenics from love as opposed to eugenics from science.
Like,
discrimination.
oh no, eugenics is really powerful. How are we gonna? Oh, you know what? We can eugenics it too, but we can eugenics it even better. Hard work. Shut up. Arrange these good marriages to make super babies.
Instead of cutting out people and removing, the bad, just take your power kid and find that other power kid and just shove him on a
and you know
date
what?
together.
He's not gonna perform as good as the other power kid. You know what you do? Performance enhancing drugs, aka insert a fox demon in there.
Baby.
Just
juice it up.
Juice the baby.
Juice the baby
with Captain America Ninja Super Serum.
Now we're talking, right?
Reminds me, I remember hearing that Captain America was like specifically disincentivized in like I think it was the 70s and 80s because people pointed out like this is a superhero whose superpower is doing steroids.
Yes,
like during the steroid scandals, it's like Captain America is a man-made superhuman that did a bunch of drugs in the war and got really big.
Yeah, but I mean, but it's also why one of those bits where it's like, Red Skull is like, you are the perfect Aryan. What are you doing? Like there's a little bit of that, like, yeah, you are artificial, but what do you do with it? And and also we can never ever do it again unless we need a dramatic moment in 13 years later. But anyway, no. So I enjoyed that as a problem that the children had to face, and then.
Hey, Nickelodeon kids, can you solve the Israeli-Palestine conflict?
You want to give it a shot? Go ahead.
No?
Yeah.
Well, it's hard? Hard, huh? Mm-hmm. What, you gonna blow a little wind bubble at it? You gonna tell everyone to just feel their feelings?
Is Appa gonna fly over Gaza and figure it out? Not quite, man. Not quite.
Soka, I don't think your trusty boomerang will save us from this one.
Mr. Boomerang will not solve the problem. I don't think. Yeah. So, anyways, you get that, right? You get that as the setup for the immediate post bad guy defeated crisis, which again,
the destruction of the air temple was an inside job, right?
and who's funding the Fire Nation? Are there
lizard people?
Yeah. Okay. Got it. Are there ties from? All right. Look. So
All right.
I don't know,
okay.
man. Aang flies a hang glider, and I saw a hang glider this weekend, and I don't know what the fuck is going on. So, but just
Wait, wait, hold on. You just saw a hang glider this weekend?
never mind.
Okay.
The point is this: is that we love it with the bit of, it's almost like, yeah, the superhero that is great at fighting and beating the bad guy, but he's terrible at being a parent. He's terrible at ruling. He's terrible at figuring anything else out. And this,
I thought it was really great how fucking we had the bit in Korra where they're like, yeah, Aang sucked as a dad. Terrible. Dog shit.
so that's that's a nice like first issue to take on there. And also there's a bit of that, like, you know, as we've talked about with Clive, it's like, hey man, how are you gonna, what do you stab in the face to make all that bearer mother not be like, oh, fuck my own baby, that thing sucks, get it out of me, right? How do you fix that problem by stabbing a god in the face? You can't.
Here's where media and some forms of history paint a really disturbing solution, where in many stories the solution was, you know, you wouldn't have this problem if you had gotten everybody. Like that was the mistake, right? And you're like, I don't feel comfortable even having this discussion, media. And then the media says, no, think about it.
Yeah.
If there's no one left to take revenge, then what is it? It's like, all right.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So it and for what it's worth, it's interesting because it's like you're setting up like a very difficult solution, a very difficult problem without clear solutions, but it does manage to stick a landing that I think makes sense for the world of Avatar. That is like, okay, yeah, kids, you do have to effectively find new ways to solve this that can't just be about ancient wisdom, because sometimes the ancient wisdom of the past was fucking garbage. It was great for the problems they had at their time, but solving the way the world works when things change, when dynamics change, and when, you know, the people that are victims here are not the same circumstances as the people who are the ancient wisdom applies to, they can't fathom the intricacies of what you're looking at. So you got to figure it out in a new context. You can't just look to the past and always expect it'll be forever wisdom, you know, which is awesome because, yeah, old paper is only so useful up to a point, as you know, we see every single fucking day now.
I just realized that the whole spiel I did about you got to get all of them, I accidentally described the plot of Yakuza 2, where that's the game's core theme, which is, should you have gotten rid of all of them? Or is that more evil than letting them stay to do secret Korean shit? Like, there are characters that will look each other in the eyes and going, should you have killed every Korean? And he goes, I don't know. Maybe I should have.
I see.
That game is crazy.
We have a strenuous piece, but it was really just a fake piece while revenge was being plotted in the background because you didn't.
Wow, you actually, yeah, no, that's yeah, no, exactly, like literally exactly. And then you get to the end, and you're like, I don't know what Kiryu even thinks.
Yeah. Are you yeah, and it is a very interesting question. I mean, this was a subject of like one of the mecha graphic novel I never fucking made, but just like
oh yeah, isn't it? Yeah.
Are you entitled to revenge, and if so, to what degree, and when does it stop? Does it ever stop, or do you always have a justified, you know, means to carry out what was injustice at the time?
If I remember correctly, the way that broke down was, do you keep getting to have revenge now?
Yeah.
What about now?
Okay. How about now? Okay. All right. No. Wait. Okay. You know what? Grab the timeline and just throw it. Just go as far as you. Okay, how about now? Is revenge still good to? Okay, gotcha. Right, and so it's like that the agony of that. Exactly. It's incredibly fascinating and fucking uneasy. You know, so it's a subject matter that I love. Now, the second series book is The Search, which much more simplified. Hey, where's Zuko's mom?
That's a good question.
That's it. So let's go find out what happened there, you know? And that's much more suited for Nickelodeon Kid Adventures. It's like,
tell me where my mom is.
Let's just get the gang back together and go find mom, because all of that, you know? Whoo, all right. And so yeah, and that's a much more straightforward, and it also leans into stuff that, like, you know, the stuff that comes out of there is like, it's like Avatar introduced like spirit stuff a little bit sparingly, and then had these, but there was some major stuff around it, and then Korra was like hard into the spirits.
Yeah, a little bit too much, I think.
And so what they kind of did here is, like, I guess, bring more of that aspect in, seeing as the spirit realm is going to tie into the future in a more significant way. It starts to tie into Avatar in a more significant way, to answer some of those questions. So yeah, you know, I felt it felt like I watched the season, you know, or an arc of the story. And
I have words to say about that second season of Avatar with the Korra.
Oh, so wait,
did you on. How much of the Korra did you watch?
2 of 4.
2 of 4? Okay, yes. That's enough. Yo, Korra, you're fucking a dog on this one, man. You really fucked it all up.
Yeah, so, you know, again, we touched on this a bit when I first brought up finishing that second season, and again, I feel like I'm in the minority opinion on this. I didn't have the amount of hatred for what I saw in that second season so far compared to everyone else, and that's fine. You know, the main factor was the, like, breaking down, like, the equivalent of the wills and the midichlorians and how they work and shit like that, how the magic works, so to speak. I thought that was interesting to see. I didn't mind finding out the exact anatomy of the Avatar state. I thought it was cool, but again, I get it. I haven't finished it. There's more to learn and to figure out, and I'm sure there might be details that change, but from the midpoint, at the very least, it didn't seem to be that bad.
But, hey, I'll tell you what, season 3 has a lot of fucking weird ass, cool ass action shit in it.
Yeah,
that third season has a lot of the wipeouts. Yeah. Wipeouts happening.
But I'm just like, the last time I brought this up, it was weeks of, like, fucking Korra takes and drawing shit. I'm like, all right, I'm not trying to fight any battles.
You know,
if you hated it, that's fine. I didn't think
it's really fascinating to me to see
worst.
What characters people like. Okay, over the course of my internet notoriety, I have discovered that people care a lot about many things. And sometimes they take the things that you say personal, and it kind of hurts their feelings. In that context, it's really interesting to see what specific characters or things people get just really, really attached to. Like, I've seen people defend Korra like she's a real person. She's not. She's a written character that the writers wrote. Whenever you complain about Sakura from Naruto, you're actually complaining about Kishimoto, right? You're not like, Sakura's not a real person that has feelings that you can hurt. You're complaining about the writer. If I complain about Jill's portrayal in FF16, I'm complaining about the writer and the director not giving her enough to do, or, you know, whatever. I don't like, you know. But Korra, man, people like it's their daughter or their sister or something. Just like, how could you talk to Miss Korra? Like, could she fucking killed reincarnation for a whole planet? Holy shit! You botched it, lady!
I also have well, perhaps it's past at this point since I haven't finished and I haven't gone back to it, which I would need to do with Punch Mom. But um, the there's definitely a honeymoon phase of like I think it's just awesome to see the setting continue, and like that thing I love of like the setting plus time is a it's a there's a like a buff, a glaze that I enjoy of like seeing that, yeah, of seeing like not only that setting continue, but like seeing it continue with characters that are aged or up from the original as well, and so I always am gonna love the fact that they did that and went in that direction with it, and then I guess it's just gonna come down to what are the things these characters do, and what decisions is she gonna make, and how justifiable or not justifiable will they be. But
I think that
so
Avatar.
far didn't mind it.
I think at Avatar as a series discovered like I'm going to say like a writing trap for people in terms of dealing with characters, and that is I don't know if you remember, but like in the lead up to Korra, like when they're explaining who Korra is, they said, well, Aang was an emotionally mature child, right? He was smart, he was bright.
He didn't start that way, but you got to watch him figure out how to become more emotionally mature.
Right, but specifically what he needed to learn is how to fucking do Avatar shit. Right? As a person, the writers viewed him as like a bright and smart person that was like emotionally mature, regardless of him being a child, right? I'm describing an interview that I read before the thing came out. Then they take Korra and they said that Korra is emotionally immature, but can do all of the Avatar stuff. She can fight like crazy, but she is hot-headed. She is reckless, etc.
Yeah, she is hot-headed and reckless in a way that is more aggressive than Aang's kind of like more carefree nature. But Aang was also emotionally like he would also like fly off and not be sure how to handle his feelings, and he'd have these moments where he would like crack, and a big part of the struggles he had was don't enter the Avatar state when you're not in a calm state of mind, right? He had to learn how to enter it from a good place and not from a place where you're all wound up, because then the actions you do are awful ones.
But what I mean is, as an 11-year-old, Aang was a lot more put together emotionally and spiritually than Korra is as an 18-year-old. By comparison to their ages.
Yes.
Right?
True. For the age difference, yes, absolutely.
That's the point that this interview was making with one of the writers. And what you discover is that Aang, when he acted like, a kid or emotionally mature, it was appropriate for his age.
For his age, yeah.
Right? And so he's learning how to fight. You go to Korra, is a character who knows how to fight and do all the magic shit, but because she's hot-headed, reckless, and emotionally immature, she makes mistakes. The viewer says, but Aang wouldn't have made those mistakes. And then they get angry. Do you see what I'm saying here?
Right. Yeah.
It's frustrating because despite they're different characters of the series, the emotional maturity starts to go down.
Yeah. Now, of course, there are people that are 4 times Korra's age that are 4 times shittier. You know what I mean? So, like, you would hope that you learn to be a bit more mature about things and handle problems that have people's lives at stake in a manner that is, like, not completely just like, this is what I feel and that's what's going to determine the outcome, end of story. But, yeah, all this, but yes, of course, however you choose to write her is, I'm sure, well, I feel like a lot of stories, they'll, like, start with a template, and then kind of like write themselves in up to a place where they have an idea of where they want to go, but you'll figure it out on the fly, right? So anything that she does that has consequences might not have been thought out outside of like the end state needs to be, this is the new villain, this is the new conflict we're going to deal with in this season.
I also think that one of the weirder things is like considering how much like Avatar the first show made a big deal of like the should I kill people or not, and like moving on even to the books that you're reading, like I remember this was coming out alongside Steven Universe, and it was really strange to have all this media going like, I bet you like here's hoping the villains just kill themselves because I'm not going to do anything about it.
Now, something that's to bring it back to what I was talking about with the comics, something interesting in the search, of course, is like, okay, so Azula sucks, and
has to go.
Right?
The idea that you said, here's what happens to Azula, as implying that it's not just put her in the dirt. Holy shit, dude.
And this is the wild part, is like, it's like, okay, so Nickelodeon kids, right? The whole struggle, exactly. Should you kill the bad guy? He's an evil man. He's a full grown ass evil man. All right, now there's an evil child. Do you just fucking
surely we can kill
out
guilty children?
Do you just wipe out the guilty children? You know? And it is like, it's interesting because I'm like, yeah, if your premise is that you gotta give them a shot, right? Then let me see you stretch this premise to its conclusion. And in the search, right, you kind of get, so it's like Azula's here, and you're like, oh my god, okay, we're gonna try to deal with this. What is the right thing to do with someone that fucking shitty? And if it's not offing them, then what, right? And there's like that. Zuko's like, hey man, I was pretty shitty too, and you watched me figure it out.
But you weren't that shitty, Zuko.
But let's give it a second, you know? And then Azula's like, ah! And he's like, okay. And they're like, and then the crew is like, dude, I don't know, man. It's no, she's my sister, dude. No. Okay, let's go, you know? And then she's like, ah! And they're like, he's like, okay. And they're like, dude, I don't, like, they're like, it's one of these things where he's like, give her another chance. And then she freaks the fuck out. And they're like, dude, no. And she's like, don't give her another. And like, it keeps happening.
Yeah.
Right? And you're just like, oh, she's just like, she's broken, you know?
Yeah,
and then
there's a huge issue here. This is like I forget who termed it, or if I'm just inventing this in my mind, but I think of it in my own head as the X-Men problem, where you're like, who is the X-Men supposed to be? The X-Men are supposed to be a representation of societies like underclass or visible minority, or on the outskirts of society, right? And they're the recipients of prejudice, right? Mm-hmm. But Wolverine has fucking claws in his hand you can't take away from him.
You can't do it.
Fucking Cyclops has a fucking like cannon strapped to his eyeballs. So making the fucking comparison be like, man, the X-Men are fighting for their right to exist. It's just like gay people. No, it's not. Gay people don't have guns in their arms from birth. That's not a thing. And Azula's the same way. Like, oh, can you rehabilitate a really damaged 14-year-old? Not one that's a human gun. You can start by taking her human gun away and see what you get from that. Yes. But that bitch would stab a baby if the baby said goo goo gaga water temple or whatever. Like, that bitch is crazy.
Yes, no. A gay person with the ability to rewrite reality. With the ability to control the concept of ice, which is the absence of heat, which is actually work, and force, which is energy, which is how all life like fucking flourishes, which is the second law of thermodynamics. It's
you can't
the ability to fuck with that. Yeah,
it's not the same.
No.
If we lived in the world of X-Men, people would be fucking terrified of mutants.
Yeah.
You get a little anxiety in your tummy when you see a guy at the store carrying a revolver on his hip. What about Mr. Eye Beams or
Right.
Mr. Can make all the metal attack you?
Now, for the purposes of the story, right? Azula's like, ah, and she's throwing lightning bolts, and Zuko's like, fuck, god damn it, I can catch your lightning, idiot. Stop it. Anyways, would we, and like it's this great thing where like you're pushing the level of reasonable patience to its extreme limits, to beyond the point where anyone would accept, and you're dealing with kids, right? That's the main through line here. And you just kind of, you hit a point where it's like, okay, it doesn't matter how many of these redemption style moments, because I mean, again, Zuko, while having not done anything as bad as she did, had what was great about his story is, and what we always remember is, it's not just the road to redemption, right? It's the key part to me, at the very least, was when you were almost there and then you had a chance to take everything you ever wanted by throwing out the road that you were just on. By abandoning this path to redemption, you have an opportunity to take everything you ever wanted right here offered to you, and you're like, fuck me, I still want it. Something deep inside me still wants it, and I'm going to switch back over, right?
Yeah, I want it.
And that moment where Iroh shuts down on him, like, that's the real. That's what made me go, this show is fucking amazing. Because the simple path back that's that's no winding turns, and where you don't actually get a chance at a better outcome for yourself, is easy, because you're like, well, I want this path back, not only because I feel bad about what I did, but probably because I'll feel better of the guilt in my head, whatever the case is. But if you have the chance to abandon it for the fucking temptations of beforehand and then some,
I think the point you're making here is perfect, because the struggle that you see in Zuko, and even though he fucks it up, like, he fucks it up for a whole season, right? He makes the wrong choice, but you see the struggle and the back and forth, it humanizes him and makes you go, okay, you know what? He just needs to be put in the right place in the right circumstances. Azula has no struggle. She doesn't even want the other stuff.
So again, this is just going further into like how busted she is, right? In the comic, it goes into these moments, and then after like the fourth time or so, that everyone is like, I swear to God, kid, like, if she weren't your sister, like, right? And he's trying to like walk it back in a way. You cut over to like see what she sees from her perspective, and it's like, she had no chance, right? She's like legitimately like not even fucking experiencing reality in the same way that like other people do. Like, she's
I have a very important question, because it will color the entirety of every discussion about Azula here. When Zuko's like, I can fix her, or I can improve her, or whatever, right? We can do something here. In between the first attempt and anything, is there one fatality that can be ascribed to Azula? Because during the treatment or fixing her process, if this results in a fatality, the whole thing becomes totally moot.
Exactly, right? There isn't.
Because it would be really simple if
it would be so simple. If one person goes, this child is erased from existence. We're done. That's it. There's no struggle here. You've clarified the situation. You've almost made it easier for us to do what we need to do, right? But there isn't. And it's darn. Like, you gotta fight, so that you fight along this shitty ass path, right? And then you go inside and you go, how broken? You go completely broken, right?
And then you get to have the conversation of like, can you watch her every minute of the day?
Exactly. And then you're like, not only are you're basically dealing with a child that, in addition to being raised evil and having no moral compass whatsoever, she's paranoid schizophrenic, right?
Cool.
There's just nothing. It's like, you're like, fuck, there was no other outcome here, so
I'm torn, because I don't think that the world of Avatar: The Last Airbender has a lot going on in terms of psychotherapy or psychopharmacology. They do have some of that spirit shit.
So,
but
once again, right? The second, so this follow up like story, which is again simpler enough in that it's like, hey, let's go search for mom, is presenting another aspect which is far beyond Nickelodeon children's ability to handle necessarily. Now, it's not a major. It's not it's not like Fix Azula is the plot point per se.
Yeah.
But it's happening in
is
the
it
background.
like the B plot? I guess
It's a B plot. It's a strong B plot, and like there's other details coming out about like the Fire Nation history and yada yada and so on. But at the end of the day, it's just kind of like, yo, Zuko, you're staring at yourself, but way worse, and also like unfixable. Now what? And
but I could be saved. You were never this bad.
Like,
even you walking around with like your fucking child abuse burn ass face were never as fucked up as this bitch.
Can I find? Yeah, and I mean, obviously, like he's like trying to compensate, and he became that asshole as a result of like always being seen as like not hard enough, whereas she was just like always above and beyond and rewarded for that level of cruelty. But anyway, so yeah, it is another interesting aspect to this world that I was like, okay, because if you're gonna take on the idea of like she's a shit child and nobody dies in this world no matter what they do or whatever, you're gonna need to back that up, or at the very least show me how you stretch this rationale to its conclusions, and so just like they stretched the apartheid discussion out for the first one here, you're stretching out this concept of like the redemption that Zuko can have. How much of that applies further to other characters, and at what point do you write it off and at what point do you don't? So I don't know what the third arc goes into with the rift. I'm going to need to read that. But again, if you liked Avatar, these little bridging post stories are a fun read for that, while also doing things that set up the world of Korra.
I have kind of a stupid question. But it's like a nomenclature question. You refer to them as books.
Yes.
Are they books or are they comics?
So I'm going to hold up a physical, hard graphic novel. This is a Korra art book in particular, but it's the same size, same type of book, and it's collecting a number of individual trade issues that were loose and then into one bound book. It's a graphic novel.
Okay, I find the actual terminology about this is actually like really, really terribly unclear.
Okay,
I'm not super big into comics, but like graphic novel has always been like a shitty term. I felt like it's trying too hard to be.
No. I disagree, because it's like, so bande dessinées, like BDs would exist and they would describe like things like Tintin and stuff, and you kind of are like, but it's really just saying comic book with a different country's words,
right? Just like anime is fucking a French loan word.
Yeah, and I mean, and whatever, manga is just describing not just the medium but like the place and the style within it, right? So the graphic novel is just, it's a Western comic book collected into a hard or sometimes soft cover, but it's just a bound thicker book, and in some cases, like it's written as a there are no issues, it's just a long read. But sometimes it's an omnibus, right? The collection of each part.
So I just want to be clear. It's like, and this is not to shit on you specifically, Woolie, because you are definitely not the only person I've talked to. But I have run into a situation in which people go, "Oh, I'm loving this new book I'm reading," and then I find out that it is a picture book.
Okay,
and that's not what I think of when I think of a book. I think of a book as having no picture.
Gotcha. Okay. That yes, I would say comic book. I suppose I'm assuming that probably people in the audience are familiar with Avatar and might have heard that there were Avatar comics, so I just kind of said that as a shorthand. But yes, it is a comic book that is collected into 3 hardcovers or so. Yeah.
Because I was like, this whole time we've been talking,
you
I've
thought
been
it was like a
really
novel?
surprised that there was enough material to write like 400 to 600 pages of novella 3 times in a row.
Gotcha.
So I'm thinking like Wheel of Time book,
Right. No. I meant
And I'm like, wow, that's more than the original seasons would have contained.
No. I meant comic book. Yeah. Sure. So, that's the.
You could go for 100 pages of I don't know if we should fucking kill Azula.
It's yeah. So I want to track down the rift and see what it's about. But it's fun to see that, and it's fun to see Toph just fucking being Toph and being awesome. She rules. And it's like,
Toph, also a bad parent.
But like Toph is like, wait, that fucking wild ass freaky like gremlin taught people how to bend metal? Really? How did she become a teacher? and the answer here is very, very poorly.
Yeah. Like, if I remember correctly, Toph's like teaching style is just do it, pussy. Just do it harder.
Straight up, actually. To which goofy ass Sokka shows up and is like, okay, I'm an asshole too, but like I think I can help here, maybe. Let's figure this out. But you get to see Toph being an awful teacher at the same time, which makes sense because why the fuck would she not be? God, she's the best. So yeah, and then just like, hey, I'm the greatest ever. Why aren't you? Fucking do it.
Was the greatest ever at like 8 years old. You're like an adult. What is your excuse?
And you're just and the problem is like there is no counter argument. The son of a bitch is right. She's absolutely
like, I'm sorry
right.
I wasn't taught by blind moles in a cave.
She's the fucking best. Now what? You jerk. Yeah. So good stuff. I really enjoyed that.